Do you really want to hear the funniest part? I said, raising my glass at their family dinner. You all think I should be grateful for the chance to carry your last name. But I just made you drink something you wouldn't even pour for your dog. Silence. 4 pairs of elite eyes, wide open. They didn't know yet. The wedding was officially dead. My name is Lily. I'm 29. And yes, a few months ago I was a bride. With a ring, a dress, a wedding date, and a naive little smile that whispered, "Life is finally good." My fiancé Ethan came from the kind of family people talk about in hushed voices. Wealthy, influential. Oh my God, they probably file taxes in a separate category. And me? Well, let's be honest. I grew up in a reality where hot water was a gift, new clothes were a holiday. Working as a teenager wasn't heroic, it was survival. But here's what's wild. When I met Ethan, he was warm, funny, thoughtful. And for the first time in years, I felt like I could relax. Silly, silly Lily. When he first brought me to his home, I truly thought we'd pulled up to a boutique hotel. But no, it was their guest house. The guest house, for less important guests, meaning me. His mother greeted me politely, but in that tense way where her smile looked screwed onto her face with bolts. His sister, the sister, Maren, a woman who genuinely behaves like she was born from a luxury resort and a stock portfolio. Perfect hair, perfect face, an expression like I owed her money and refused to pay it back. First thing she said was, "So this is Lily? Interesting." Interesting is the word rich people use instead of, "I dislike you already." Her boyfriend Tom added, "Unique, a very brave choice for a wedding." Yeah, I also love being introduced like a risky investment. Ethan squeezed my hand lightly, as if he already knew a circus was about to begin. We'd been sitting at the table for what felt like 20 hours, and then Maren suddenly threw out, "Oh my God, she's such a PG." I blinked. "PG like a movie rating?" She laughed. "No, project girl." Tom jumped in. "You know, a girl you can polish, fix up, prepare for a family like ours." Ethan didn't defend me. He just said quietly, "Don't take it personally. It's a joke." A joke is funny. This wasn't funny. This was predictable. During dinner, they dove into jokes so bad it's embarrassing to repeat them. You're very articulate for your background. Poverty builds character. You're lucky. Don't worry about the wedding, darling. No one will notice the difference. I could only manage one breath at a time. And every time I tried to speak, Ethan squeezed my hand. "Lily, seriously, don't mind them. They're just like that." "Yeah, sweetheart. I see that they're like that. And if you're not going to defend me, you're also like that." The next evening was a family whiskey tasting before the wedding. Maren lifted her glass, looked at me like a knockoff handbag from a street market and said, "Here's to my brother, finally finding a project that doesn't look that cheap." Laughter followed. Ethan smiled again. It hurt not because his family laughed. It hurt because he did nothing. I looked at the ridiculously expensive whiskey on the table. Sweet, status-dripping, elite. The price was about 2 months of my rent. And then a thought hit me so clearly it scared me. "You want the taste of wealth? Fine, try the taste of reality." I said, "I'll go prepare the glasses." In the kitchen, I did 3 things. 1, opened the insanely expensive whiskey. 2, poured it into a plastic smoothie bottle, the one that had been lying around. 3, filled the original bottle with a cheap, harsh, awful $12 bourbon. Then I turned on the camera and recorded a video. Human. Honest. I said, "Since you call me a project? Perfect. Let's test whether you can tell $2,000 from $12. Cheers, elite." I didn't even have to act. I was tired, hurt, and honestly, already free. When I came back, they were sitting like a panel of pretentious judges. I poured the drinks, sat down, and waited. Maren took the first sip. Here's what happened. For a millisecond, her face twisted. Cheap alcohol does that. But she immediately pulled herself together and said, Rich, Tom. Deep aroma? Yes, quality for sure." Ethan, with thesis-defending seriousness. Lily, this is what real whiskey tastes like. I almost choked on my own air. They confidently praised the fake, because their pride was louder than reality. If you've ever had a moment where you're sitting across from people who think they're above you and you suddenly realize justice is about to walk into the room, that was it. I got up and said, "I have a little gift for you." I connected my phone to the TV and pressed play. On the screen, me, laughing, pouring bourbon into their elite bottle. And my voice? To projects, to taste, to truth. Silence fell so heavy, it felt like the house lost oxygen. Maren went pale. Tom stared at the floor. Ethan? He looked like something inside him cracked open. I just stood there, calm, quiet. It was the most honest minute of the entire evening. After they ran out, slamming doors behind them, Ethan stormed into the room. "You humiliated my family." Me, calmly. "No, they humiliated themselves. I just hit play." Him. "You ruined our wedding." Me. "No, Ethan. The wedding fell apart the moment you let them call me a project." Him. "It was a joke. You should have understood." I closed my eyes and finally said what should have been said long ago. If I have to endure their humiliation to be part of your family, then I don't want to be part of your family. He froze. No words, no excuses, no conviction. And I knew that was it. We were done. The next morning I took off the ring, placed it in his hand, and quietly said, "I'm canceling the wedding. And the project role? Go find someone you can fix. I'm done." He tried to explain, saying, "We can fix this." They went too far. I love you. But sometimes love isn't evidence, it's background noise. I walked out of that house, without a ring, without a dress, without a plan, but breathing cleaner air than ever before. Ethan's family exploded, of course. "She's unworthy. Thank God it happened before the wedding. We were right about her." I just blocked all of them. I rented a small apartment by the river, bought a cheap bottle of wine, sat on the floor by the window, and smiled to myself. It was the first night in a long time when I didn't have to pretend. I'm not rich, but I have something their money can't buy: self-respect, peace, and the ability to walk away when I'm undervalued. I didn't become their project. I became my own person. If someone calls you a project, walk away before you put on the white dress. They tasted their elite illusion. And I tasted freedom. So tell me, if you were in my place, would you press play?